woman, classy, beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy, beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy, beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy, beautiful. Well, good morning, Facebook fam. How are you? It's your girl, Neo Soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya, back on a Tuesday for Morning Tea with Mommy. Hope you guys are doing good. Let me see those thumbs ups, those hearts, those happy faces. Let me know you guys are awake. You guys are happy to be alive and you are ready to get your day started. I'm excited about this topic today. I'm excited about every topic, but today I'm actually excited because I don't know. I saw something last night that got my spirit all jumping and everything, and decided to switch up the topic for today, and so I just want to talk about it. So let me bring my mom on, and then we can talk more about it. Let me see where she is. Hello, I see half of you, and another beat. What is that? Oh my god, that's that's your phone spirit. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm a summer baby and I'm in here struggling again with my office door open, the heat on, and the air on. Yeah, you did. I'm missing the other half of my ring. I hope I can find it. I think my youngest, yeah, yeah, right. We try to use that excuse with Mr. Castro too having. Um,
Let me give you my my confidence for today. I don't know if you're ready for this one. I am grateful for the curves of my hips and the thickness of my lips. Thank God for all my creator trusted me with. Boom. I said it. That's my story and I'm sticking with it.
so I have to be honest, right? Everything that you said, like in the very beginning with your little
I know what you're
ball
going
puppet, it was on mute. I'm sorry.
to say. She did that on purpose,
I
y'all.
did
She
not.
did it
You
on
know,
purpose.
so
Mm,
we keeps it real on this show.
but
And
it's
so
but it's okay.
what happens is, she comes
Okay.
into the building during the show, right? And and so I don't have to dial her in. She actually comes into the virtual building. And sometimes she comes into the virtual building talking. So I have to put her on mute so that when she comes into the building, she's not talking before I can, go get her out of the room. And sometimes I forget to unmute it. But if she would come in the building and not have a side conversation,
What's today? Today's
then I
Tuesday,
wouldn't have to
and
mute her.
I got 3 more days before I can
I'm
sound
just
her out,
saying.
y'all. But that's
When you come
okay.
into the
It's
building,
okay.
you
It's
gotta be
okay.
quiet.
I thought she was censoring my confidence card for today.
No,
When I
I
was talking
wasn't, but
about
you can
the
read it
the
again.
the curves of my hips and the thickness of my
No,
lips.
they heard that part. I'm talking
Oh,
about
okay.
with that little squirrel that you had going
Oh, my
on.
little
It was
come
probably
back.
best if they didn't
You talking
hear.
about my little fall friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is this. Let me tell you about this squirrel. This is so special to me because it was a gift that it was something I gave to my mom during her time, her latter years, and she couldn't get out. She
That's
was
why I had her on mute, y'all.
Did you mute me again? Did
I
you
did
mute me
not move
again?
you again.
Now you know it's not. Now you know it's not an accident, y'all.
I
Okay.
did not
Now
move
you
you
know it's not.
again.
But it's okay. But this is my little friend because this was a gift that I gave to my mom uh, during her time when she was convalescing from a hip injury. And it was very special. It was this time of year that I gave it to her. So I thought I brought them out to say hello to you guys. Say hi to the folks. Hi. Now you can continue, unless you want me to read my word. I got another word for y'all.
We need
Guess
intervention.
what the today's word is?
What's today's
Call
word?
out my name. Call out
And you
no,
know,
call out his name. I apologize. Call out his name.
and you
Call
know,
out his name.
with saying that, I knew what you were speaking of when you said call out my name. Call out his name. So, you know, today's topic comes from a situation that I happened upon on last night, right? First, let me say, I am doing, I think I mentioned it lightly. I'm doing my first show since the pandemic because I ain't performing to nobody nowhere in nobody building. I canceled my East Coast tour. I canceled the whole thing um, because you know I had to. I had children, and some of them were smart enough to cancel along the way, and then some of them were like, "Well, hey, we can still." And I was like, "No." So I canceled the whole tour because of this whole thing, and so I've said no to a lot of opportunities to perform because I just want to be safe. And so this will be my first time actually performing since the pandemic, and really good friends of mine and Johnny's. One of Johnny's good buddies, who is a pianist and a producer. He actually owns a studio as well, and so we kind of like bounce off each other, and have clients back and forth or whatever. And then radio personality Wendy Hicks, who's a really good friend of mine, have they've joined forces, and they came up with an idea to do a drive-in concert, and it is literally a drive-in concert, not like the ones where um, people are, they say drive in and they drive in and then they get out and they walk up. It's a drive-in concert, and so you will be in your cars. It's out in Clinton. I will post the flyer after the show, but it's out in Clinton, Maryland, and you can actually drive up. And they actually have it where um, you can turn to a specific station and hear it. You can see us on stage and also hear us out loud. But you can, if you want to completely off yourself from the world, you can roll your windows up, turn your air on, or heat rather, and tune into the station, and you can actually hear us perform. So it's pretty cool, pretty dope. I'm gonna be performing amongst two other songs from my album. I'm gonna be performing my new single, "The Movement." So I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. It's actually something that I feel comfortable bringing my mom to. Y'all know I don't bring my mama nowhere. So she gets to
All
sit in the
right.
truck and be
Let me
safe.
check my schedule and see if I'm available
You're
then.
free. She
Let
gets to
me
sit in the truck
Let
and be
me
safe.
see
That
if
is
my
this
schedule is.
Saturday, guys. This
Uh,
Saturday.
you're in luck
I
because
will give you the
I have that
time. It's
date
during the day though,
open.
but it's this
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Child, please, you know you're gonna be there.
that date's open.
I'm letting you come out the house, man. I don't let you go nowhere. You stay right in your house. And
But
if I feel comfortable with you coming out the house, you know it's safe. So yeah, check us out.
talk to
I'll
the
post it.
squirrel. Talk to the
Woke
squirrel.
up 2:30 this morning
Talk
with
to
his
the
name on my
squirrel.
lips, hit my knees early, early. So perfect because the topic is your head still in the game? Dot dot dot. Is your heart still in it? And we had another topic for today, but I quickly had to switch it because coming from rehearsal last night, which went really well. Um, I was nervous because I wanted to stay safe, and they made sure I was. But coming from rehearsal, I um, I happened upon this live from a young lady, and I'm going to. She goes by the name of, I can't remember. It's gonna come to me, and I shared it. I shared it, and she typed it. Her name is something else on Facebook, but she said the name that she actually goes by. Anywho, um, I happened upon her live last night on the way home. And I'm always into like supporting other artists. So I have this thing: dope artists support other dope artists. Good morning, Gerald. And so I happened upon this young lady's live, and we were trying to figure out where she was, and so it looked as though she was on a street corner in a neighborhood. She had the mixer in her car. She had Jimmy rigged her car, and she had the speakers, like I guess on the outside of her car or whatever, and she had Jimmy rigged her car and had her mixer board on the inside, in the middle, on top of the middle console. And so it was her and her son, and she was singing her heart out, and it was like two phrases: "I love Jesus, I love Jesus," and she kept saying, "Say his name, say his name." And then she began, after she sat there for a while, and I didn't even realize that we had come in the house. I still had it on the phone. The children had made us a plate, because I had cooked before I left, but we didn't eat, so they made us a plate before they went to bed. And so we're sitting at the table. I'm still on the phone, like listening to it. When look, we had came. It was so long. Like I came in, we did our whole little sanitizing and everything, to shower everything. Came out, ate, sitting at the table, listening to it. Went back in the bedroom, and she's still on. And she literally was driving around Baltimore City, singing the word of God, right? And it was just like she had these tracks that they were like R&B tracks or whatever. I think maybe her son had done them. They was pretty dope tracks, and the track was just playing. It was just running, looping, and she was just freestyling and singing. And then the camera had panned to a woman that was standing next to her car, and she was on her knees in tears. And so I'm looking, and I'm like, oh my God, like, like, cause she was, not really dressed. And it was a homeless woman, and was just pouring out, just crying. And like, it really, I couldn't, I was so addicted. And I wound up sharing the post. So it's on my page, like late last night, probably like 10:30, 11 something. It's on my page, and I shared it. And so it was my prayer that people did, because I don't joke, when it comes to like authenticity of heart and everything. Like my husband's the jokes that I don't joke. And so it was very in the raw, right? And she wasn't a recording artist, you could tell, but it was her heart. It was her heart, and I felt the spirit of what she was doing. And so it made everything sound beautiful to me. And I'm harmonizing with it, because it was just one her, and I'm harmonizing, throwing in harmonies and throwing in background, to what she was doing. And when we finally got off the live, because she wound up driving, like she wound up leaving the location. She was out there for a while, probably like an hour, and then she wound up driving around the neighborhood just praying. And she's driving with the mic, y'all. She had the, you gotta go watch my live feed. Is the she had the mic in her hand. She driving around the neighborhood just praying for the people, man. And like the speakers is booming, and the cops didn't stop her. Like nobody stopped her. And like she's just out there praying for people. And I was like, yo, can they hear her? And then like she had stopped at a light, and I guess somebody had pulled up beside her, and she said something like, "Oh no, I'm not afraid," and just kept praying. I was like, oh my, like, I mean, it was the most pure, genuine experience that I could ever experience, and I wasn't even physically there. And so I had to share it, and I wanted anybody who jumped on when I shared it to feel the heart of what was happening, just like I did. And so it made me think, because during rehearsal last night for the show this Saturday, I made a comment to, because I'm singing with the house band and not my normal band. And for safety reasons, they just use a house band, which is just like a three-piece band, I believe. And so um, I was going through the songs because they were trying to figure out, whether they were doing it the right way. And so I made a comment about the song "The Movement," and I think I played it when a single drop for you all. But I told them, I said, I want people to feel the heart of what I was saying. You know what I mean? And so the movement, I don't know if you guys remember, was talking about the marching and the protesting. And so I go into a chant, Black Lives Matter, say her name, say his name. Um, and then I'm saying names of those who were slain, um, innocently. And so I said, I want the people, when they hear this, I want them to remember those stories from our ancestors, and coupled with what's going on today. So I want the visual to be in their minds while they sit in their car. I want them to go from seeing their ancestors like hung on a tree to now having people putting their knees on our necks, because I need people to still be in the game. Like, us as a culture, we have a tendency to follow fads, right? And after the fad is done, then everything dies down. We cool. We do that with shoes. We do that with clothes. We do that with makeup. We do that with people. Everybody's on this one thing. Everybody's on this one celebrity, and everybody's on it. And then once that dies down a little bit, 2, 3, 4 months down the line, they not so hot no more. And we on to the next thing. Or everything is quiet until something else happens. And that's what we've been experiencing with this whole Black Lives Matter. And it's not even about the actual organized movement. It's about the movement that of the people, the movement of God's people. They're saying, hey, like, yo, we are chosen, we are blessed, and we are favored. And we will not bow down to the enemy. Like, yo, we will walk in our queen and kingism. And so the movement, we have a tendency as a people, as a culture, to get hooked on fads. And when the fads aren't as popular anymore, or there's no that much noise, that we kind of die down into the next thing. And so that's what I've been noticing. It's like, we all in. We all in when somebody's falling asleep, right? We all in. We protesting for 2, 3 months. We out there. We spending the night on the street. We doing all of that, right? And then it kind of dies down into the next killing. When if we stayed in the game, right, and our hearts stayed in it, and we stayed like steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the word of the Lord, right? Like, if we stayed in that space physically, spiritually, mentally, then maybe we don't have to get to the next lane. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to wait until somebody else falls slain. And so I was listening to her sing, and I was like, there may be some, and she didn't have that many people on the live, from what I can see. And not that many people were commenting. It's just my prayer that people were just in the moment, and it was just one of those moments where you just, is not comment worthy. It's just, bask in the moment. But if we had more of that on social media, rather than, oh my gosh, do y'all think that Cardi B deserves to be cheated on again, because she made the song WAP, and, instead of doing all of that, if we had more of, like, yo, I'm driving around my neighborhood praying over my neighborhood, not just my house, but their house too. Because if somebody does something to their house, then it can directly affect my house. So I'm gonna pray over the whole entire neighborhood, right? I'm gonna pray over the whole neighborhood. I'm gonna pray over my whole community. I'm gonna drive around. If I'm up and I'm so, stuck on, like, I don't want to be in a house, get in your car and be proactive about the change that we want to see. Is our heart still in the game? Like, are we still for the whole, Black Lives Matter? Are we still for the whole, like, yo, people need to wake up and stay woke and realize this and this and this? Are we still there? Are we still there, guys? Is our heart still in the game? Is our heart still in it? Is our mind still in the game? Or have we kind of fizzled out, died out a little bit, and moved into, like, this season of just waiting for the next thing, waiting for the next big thing to jump on and say, oh yeah, yeah, power to the people, you know. Um, yeah. And hey, look, and the queen is on here, Wendy. You guys have me inspired, and then God brought me to a particular person who was on live. So I was just talking about you today. So I'm gonna post the flyer for the show on Saturday. You guys gotta come out, man. It's safe. Y'all know if I say it's safe, then it's safe because I don't let my mama go nowhere. Um, but yeah,
Bonnie,
y'all,
where
I
is
don't.
my leash?
Look.
Oh,
When
can you
when
take
the
my leash
pandemic
off?
happened, you don't need no leash. You got one of them
Oh my
invisible fences.
goodness. She gonna let
I put up an invisible fence. I'm
she
not ashamed to
gonna
say it,
let
but
her 70-year-old mama out the
I sure
house.
am because I want you to be 71.
Where is my
Yes, I
son?
don't make
Where
no
is
mistakes about it. He know the
oh
game
my
and he know the deal.
goodness
Vanita
gracious.
said, "This is so my argument. What I've been saying from the jump about the apathetic nature of some of our young people. Their hearts have never really been in the game. It's a fad. Like, people get attached to fads, but was your heart really in it from the beginning? And, like, literally, this can go. It's going to be amazing, Wendy. Absolutely. Wendy said, "Good morning, Mom."
Good
It's
morning.
going to be, it's going to be awesome. I need you guys to show up. Um, but like, this can go for any situation, whether you're in a relationship, relation. I don't know what you want to call it, like a friendship, a business, a partnership, a job. When you first start a job, you like excited, you all in, like you coming in there early, you coming in there 10, 15 minutes before you supposed to start. You're saying good morning to everybody that walk past, and then like a couple months go by, a couple of people rub you the wrong way, and you come in there, you be like, morning,
And
you
the
know,
novelty wears off.
or you
Yeah.
coming in 3 minutes before you gotta start, or 3 minutes after you were supposed to start, um, and your heart is no longer in it. But my question is, was it in it from the beginning? Or were you just following, like, what you thought would be fashionable, or a fad? Were you following a trend that you thought would be looked at as fashionable, or was your heart really in it? Did you really approach this situation, this relationship, this job, this event that with the heart of, like, yo, I'm gonna see this thing through to its fruition, and I'm going to operate as if I'm going to see the fruits of my labor, even if God doesn't have that be the plan. But that's gonna be my plight. Like, that's gonna be my heart when I'm in it. Like, to the end, I'm gonna ride this thing till the wheels fall off. Like, where are we right now? Like, where are we? Where are we? Where are you? Where are you right now? Um, in the fight that you started, or the fight that you said that you would see to its finish, even if it's not in God's will for you to see it to its finish. Where are you? Where's that heart that you came to the battle with? Is it still there? I just want to know. Y'all talk back to me. Beverly Magnum, I hear you and I feel you. I really do believe in what you're saying. I too would like to know, are you letting it die off? Because it really hasn't. And it hasn't. And in fact, it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. And they understand our pattern. They get our pattern. They know we're people of situation. we're people of fads. We're people of what's hot for the moment. That's why they pacify us with, we're gonna do a settlement. We're gonna do a settlement for the family, because That'll quiet them down for a moment. You know, we'll allow we'll allow the mayor to paint Black Lives Matter on a plaza, which is good, which is good. Um, but they know that we're gonna be excited. We're gonna go out there and take a whole bunch of pictures, whole bunch of pictures. You know, we're gonna go out there and dance on it. We're gonna go out there and sing on it. We're gonna skate on it. We're gonna jump rope on it, and that'll be enough for us until the next thing. Like all those things, yes, you're gonna do it, do it. But where is the fight still there? Is the fight still there? Like, hey, like I need y'all to see, like, don't see me jump roping. See me on top of the words Black Lives Matter because we matter. Like, see me jump roping and see my life. See my life. See my potential. See my smile. See my beauty. See my necessity in this world, in this society. So when you see me out there skating and dancing and getting married on these words, Black Lives Matter, see beyond the event. See me. See the fact that I can be anything, if not better, than what you are. See that, you know? Um, yeah. I'm gonna read these comments, mommy. What you got? What you got? You know what? You are not on mute. Go ahead. I'm sorry, when I go in, it's hard to stop. So my legs shaking.
And the title of my sermon today is
I'm sorry, my legs shaking.
no, for real, serious. In all seriousness, my kids know, and anyone who knows me know that prayer is essential to me. It's a center. God through Jesus Christ is the center of my life. I do hardly anything without consulting Him first, from putting on clothes, what to wear, and what to eat, and all of that. That being said, I do uh, prayer every day, many times of the day. And right now, I'm dealing with a 60 days of prayer.
Hmm.
It's no accident that all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord. And when thinking about the topic today and the story that La just shared with the young woman that was praying over her surroundings, the topic for my prayer today is call out his name. I don't know if I was muted when I first said that, but that was the topic for today. Do you hear me? Are you feeling where I'm going with this? All things work together for the good of them who love the Lord. Now, and I can show you today's is September 22nd, right? So call out his name as a topic. And the scripture, if you want to reference this, is Psalms 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. That is anytime the going is going tough, even anytime that the going is going rough, we can always call on God. When we do things with God as the center of our situations, there is no failure. There is no failure in God. Um, Many people do things for many reasons. Usually it's for another person. If you're in a relationship, you're going to work hard to impress your supervisor, your children. You want to make them feel good. So you're doing all these niceties for them. But when you do something from the depths of your heart, and because God, Jesus Christ, is the center of your heart, then it's lasting. It's
Yeah,
lasting. And
that's
that's
it.
how, I really am so beyond impressed, but I am just touched by the fact that there is someone, and I'm certain there are many people. Like, I'm affiliated with a number of people in the country, out of the country, who are constantly praying, have been praying even before we knew of this virus that has taken its toll
Yeah.
over the entire world. Okay. So and prayer is essential. My kids know that anytime, usually before we started doing this broadcast, I have my worship time and my real worship time in the mornings, and I'm all fired up. I get all fired up for the rest of the day, whatever is to come. That is why when this pandemic hit us, it was no surprise, because God was preparing me for whatever is to come. And I think it's a brilliant idea, and I really would like to get in touch with this woman. Um, Although these are the things that I am doing with my life ministry is prayer. That's the central theme for me. This side of my life is prayer. Um, in everything. So when you shared this woman's story, and as she's going out and praying, she had no fear. She had no uh, uh feelings of, what are people going to say, what are they going to think I'm crazy. That was the furthest thing, I'm sure, from her mind. And so therefore I say that to say, in anything, all things that we do, if we do it with the central core of that thing being for the purpose of glorifying God,
Yeah.
then there is no failure. There is no failure, there is no fear. And I'll say this, and then I'll sit down. I have this saying, and don't try to steal it, because I'm a copyright on it. Movement. When I think of movement, I break that word up. Move me in it. So
You
when
did
you're in
say
a
that on another
movement,
show, so it's
when
on
you're in
record.
a movement, you're moving yourself to push forward. Okay, and it's lasting. You're moving
That's
from the
hot.
core of your very being. So when you're moving from the core of your very being, that means whatever it is that's moving you should be not kept under a bushel, but
Right.
spread out and moved throughout. The marathon continues. Turn my mic off.
She said, turn her mic off.
Am I
Someone
almost?
said, I'm working to get better with daily prayer and setting aside personal time to honor and thank him for all of my blessings.
I
Absolutely.
promise you.
And that's the key
Mm,
to us staying fresh
hmm.
in whatever it is that we set out to do. And like I even you, Queen, like with this awesome idea that you and my bro Pete have come up with, like even in that, you know, that very drive, that started you into like, let's create this moment, this atmosphere for people, and that prayer, that time that you set aside for, like, God, like, I don't know how we gonna do it, but this is what we trying to do, like, just be with us, like that same drive. Like, it is my prayer, my hopes that even when you get into the eye of the storm, because you're gonna have people that's like, oh, yo, y'all do, yeah, man, we doing, we coming out, and they coming out in droves, and then you're gonna be in the eye of the storm, and when you're in the eye of the storm, it just almost feels like everything is at a standstill. um and that's when the engine should rev the loudest. I feel like that's when our engine should rev the loudest. That's when we should be the most bold.
That's
um
where the power is. That's where your
because that's
power
where the
comes.
power is, in the eye of the
It's
storm.
generated. Yes,
That's the
yes.
part that does the most damage. And in this analogy, that's the moment, and that's the part for us where we can be the most effective and effective. And so when we have to remember, when we get to that, because everybody's going to get to the eye of the storm that they're in, right? And so when you get to the eye of the storm, where is your heart? Where is your mind? Is it still where it was when you first started? When you first started and you saw the change. Because when the storm first starts, you see the movement, like you see things shifting. You see the winds blowing, you see the trees almost knocking down, you see the cars moving by themselves because the wind is so strong. Like, you see that. You can see what you're doing. You can see the effectiveness of it. But where is your heart and your mind when you are in the eye of the storm and it looks like things aren't moving? Where are you? Where is your heart? Where is your mind? Like, are you still, is your drive still there? Because that is the moment, as I said before, where you need to be revved up the most.
Absolutely. That's where
Because
your
things are
momentum comes.
moving.
Your momentum comes during the, and you know what? That's when God works best. He works best in the middle of a storm. Think about it. When he was out on the boat, and you know what I'm saying? Think about Peter when he had his eyes on Christ, and the moment he took his eyes off, that's when he went downwards. And that's unfortunately with many of us in the eye of the storm, in the middle of the storm. We all revved up and we're ready to go, but the moment that clash from lightning or thunder comes, we out. And we've got to, and this is, I think, what was going through my head, after, it was known that there was this pandemic, and I'm thinking back. So God, that's why you had me praying up. It's like, I guess that's why this little fellow is so important to me. I admire you. I admire this little fellow
I know what this
because you know what? Have you ever watched them? Have you ever watched
Yeah,
these little
you're right.
guys? You know what I'm saying? We have this little one, and I think it's the same one. My son swears out his office window is right at the, so he's watching nature all the time. And there's this one little guy that comes every day, almost, and he has his mouth each day. His jaws are thicker and thicker. It's like he's storing up. He's storing up. And I think of my prayer in that sort of way. It's like staring up. You don't wait until the storm hits you.
Right,
You're constantly building up momentum, and when it does hit, you're prepared. You're prepared. And one thing we have to, that's where that faith comes in. That's where the faith should kick in. When you are in the middle, in the eye of the storm, that's when our faith should take hold, and we'll say, hey, you know what? God, you got it. You got it. One more story. When my dad, unfortunately, rest in peace, um, was a praying man. His prayers, and I was just telling the story to my son the other day. His prayers were like songs. He was like his prayers. He was one of them singing people. Okay, and when he was hit with the illness that took him out, towards the latter part of his illness, he just stopped talking. He shut down. I remember we were sitting at the dinner table, and prayer, the grace was an essential part of our household. And I remember so well, there was a storm that came up, and Dad just sat there at the table. We were about to eat, and he just stopped and he looked upwards. And my brother got a little irritated because he was in, go ahead, and you're gonna pray, because he's always ready to eat. Okay, so, and Dad just stopped and looked upwards. Days after that, it hit me, and more specifically after Dad passed, after his transition, it hit me. Dad had been praying all his life, all the time I knew him. And that moment when he could not speak, audibly, all he had to do was look upwards, because he had stored up. This is the way it came to me. He had stored up all those prayers. That's what we have to be faithful in doing, is preparing. That word preparing, before. So we have to prepare for any situation in our life, so that when the storms do hit and we're in the eye of the storm, we can just look upwards and we can just throw our hands out, and we can just, through our prayers have spread around, you know. So I really look forward to maybe one day seeing this sister. Um,
I do. I
and
really
like,
want to. I'm gonna reach out to her because I want
please,
to hear her
please,
story.
please,
And
yeah,
like
yeah,
you made a great point when you were talking about how a lot of Jesus's work was in the thick of it, like when when people
No,
was like,
good.
"Oh God, are you not gonna move?
Yes.
Like, look what's happening."
Right.
And
Right.
I think about the story of Lazarus, right? Um,
Hmm.
where while he was dying, they were trying to get Jesus to come. They were trying to get him, and they were trying to get him to come, and he was coming, but he was
He was so
coming
cool about it. He was so
in
cool.
his
He was cool.
on in his pace.
He was cool.
And it wasn't about how fast you ran or got there. It wasn't about how fast he got there. It was about where his heart was on his way there when he got there. Because his heart was not parted from the situation. It was still on the situation. He knew there was a situation. And the crazy thing is, it was like you could have saved him. Like you could have saved him. Um, but it was in the stillness of Lazarus' body, like he was still, where it looked like, that storm of the passing was over, like he was gone, he was dead. And so it was the stillness of that you saw the true work of God, because it was at that moment that people actually saw how powerful he really was.
And it
Like,
wasn't a thing of him. Jesus never did things as a sideshow, to
right,
prove this. He didn't have. He had to prove nothing. He just did it. He was so cool about it. He was such a cool guy. And I love it, particularly with the guys that he hung out with. You know what? The least likely of people he hung out with, and the whole thing was his whole walk and talk with him in the few years that he walked the earth was by action showing his God's power through him. And so the thing of it is, and like with my dad, when I think about it, when we during this walk, during whatever we're going through from day to day to day, we have to be so confident and so faithful and to know and be cool like Jesus. I want to have, what I aspire to have, that walk on the water faith, where I can just walk on any situation without fear, even job situations. Those of us who are going through or have gone through situations on our workplace in our workplace, people who are going through situations with our kids. There some kids who have gone astray, and in times like these where people are just going in all directions, without direction, going in all directions without direction, real direction. So the thing of it is, when we think about, this topic, is your head in the game? Are you really in it? Are you in it to win it, or are you just in it to show up? You know what I'm saying? Is your heart still in it? Are you really? And where is your heart? Yeah, I'm asking y'all, where's your heart? I'm asking you, where's your heart?
yeah, where
Where
is
is
it?
your heart? Are you just in it, or are you in it?
And that's really when you find out whether you were
A true
really in it.
story.
Like, and let's just speak real quick, to like relationships. You know, People will get involved in a relationship, and the bliss of, they spend thousands of dollars for weddings, for people to show up and eat all your food. And the real work is after the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like, you give all of that to the actual wedding day. You know, you throwing a party for everybody else. You're throwing a party for other people to have fun. They don't even really care if y'all stay married. It's just at a wedding, you got exquisite food and we dance all night, and y'all got open bar and drinks and all of that. Don't nobody really care if you married next year. Um, it's just a moment. It's like, yeah, where the party at? And so after the wedding, after the honeymoon, I hear a lot of people call it the honeymoon phase. After the honeymoon phase, is there after a honeymoon phase, or is the honeymoon phase supposed to last throughout the whole entire marriage? Um, where are you? Like, is your head still in the game? Is your heart still in it? And if you find that your heart is no longer in it, then I question, was it really there in the beginning? Because, like, for me, any situation that I approach, I know it's going to be met with opposition, right? Anything, a relationship, friendship, um, an event, a thing, this show is going to be met with opposition. And so the heart of me is, God, like, prepare me for those moments because I never want to lose heart. There's so many people who have started shows, who started out doing them every day, and then they went to, all right, we just going to do it 3 times a week. All right, we just going to do it once a week. All right, we just going to do it once a month. Like, yo, when we started this thing, I said, Mom, so what you want to do? Like, I want to do it every day. She was like, let's do it. I said, we get them the weekends off to think about it and put in perspective everything we talked about, but I want to do it every day, every day. And every week we were like, all right, Lord, send some topics because I didn't want it to be commercialized. Like, I didn't want
Mm,
it to be
mm,
like, okay, let's see what everybody else talk about.
mhm.
Let's get a book, see if there's a book we can come up with topics. Like, I wanted it to be authentic. I wanted it to be real because I wanted to be real with you all. Like, we wanted to give you all our best. We wanted to give you all our heart, and we still do. And like, tomorrow marks the ending of season 7, yo.
Ah,
You talking about 16 episodes in a season. And we're ending season 7 tomorrow, right? And so when I come to those markers, it's the reminder for me, like, yo, keep your head in the game. Keep your head in the game. And then I usually don't even go back and look at how many people have viewed, the show, because it's just like whoever's supposed to be there is there. Um, but after last night and watching this young lady that I saw last night, I was just
mm,
curious. And so I'm flipping through and I'm looking and I'm like, yo, God, you're reaching people. And like, it wasn't even me. It wasn't even about me. I was like, God, you're reaching people.
mm,
And it was something I said during rehearsal, that I remember, because a lot of times most people don't realize that when I'm singing, like, God is singing through me and then He's speaking and I'm just listening, and I'm a vessel, but I'm listening, right? And so I made this comment in one of my ad libs to the movement song, and I said, we can't stop and we won't stop. Like, and so I'm looking at the fact that we're coming upon our ending of our 7th season, and then I look. I said, let me just see, who's watching. You know, are there people watching? And I saw the numbers, and I saw fluctuations in numbers, but then I saw numbers like skyrocket. And I said, yo, I can't stop. We won't stop. I can't. We can't, because the heart that we had when we decided to start this show is the same heart that we still carry. And like, I don't know about you and anything that you've set your heart into, or you've put forth your mind into to start. But like, I'm in the game for the long haul, and we're gonna ride this thing to the wheels fall off, because it ain't about us. It ain't about us. What I
not
said was,
even.
like, God, you're reaching your people. God, you are reaching your people. And so when I keep that perspective, then I can't afford to stop, because it ain't about whether I'm tired or whether I'm like, God, they not really paying attention. Or this morning, not that many people are answering. I be like, yo, it's not about what you see. It's about what I see. Because this is
Mhm.
this is all about me. This ain't about you. And
That's
so
right.
God is still reaching His people.
Oh, he is. He
Like,
is.
when I
He is.
saw
He
this
is.
woman driving around her neighborhood, and she's no celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's where it's at.
she's no like it. Hell, it
That's where it's at.
reminded me of the song, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody that can save everybody. Like, I'm no celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm no Beyonce, Jill Scott, or whatever, but I'm a celebrity to God. I'm one of His celebrities. And so, His celebrities, he's like, I want you right here, center stage. Now speak, daughter. However that looks, speak in your actions, speak in song, speak in speech, speak in deed. I want you center stage because you my celebrity. And
Absolutely. And one thing I used to tell La and her brother, everything you do, it's like adding to a point. God puts you where you need to be for that moment to get
yeah,
what you need to get to do what He has implanted in you. And so whether it's a job, whether it's whatever your career is, some people go to college for many years to do certain things. They come out and do totally different from what they started out. And I dare say that it's because, God puts you where you need to be to get what you need to be, what you need to get to do
yeah,
what He implanted in you from the very womb of your mom. When you were yet in your mother's womb, he knew. He knew exactly what He had for you to do. And oftentimes I would say to La, and I say to her brother, don't be dismayed. Be not dismayed, whatever betide, because whatever you needed to get from that particular occupation, career, job, or what have you,
I believe it.
school, was just an ingredient for the finished product.
Yeah. And
And
you may
and
not know
and
why he
so
had you there, but he know.
absolutely, he knows. He knows. And you know what? The aha moments are when we start to realize, oh, yeah, I remember. I was a gospel singer. I am a gospel singer, a retired gospel singer, and I remember my husband, the colonel, used to always say, I would get discouraged sometimes. I say, I'm not, the concerts are not coming up fast enough, and da, 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 da. I'm not ministering like I want. That was what I, know that I was chosen to do. He said, Lou, he said, think about it. Your classroom, because I'm a teacher, I'm an educator. And he said, you are touching more lives through your educating and through your being in the classroom and through your impacting hundreds of students that, don't be discouraged. God knows exactly where to put you
Yeah.
to get what you need to get. And only thing we have to do is be obedient, to be in it, to win it. And win it is not by any prize or any Academy Award, any trophy or any what have you. Winning it is fulfilling your purpose, fulfilling your purpose. And so that's something, that we learn along the way. And in these 70 years, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning, things that, there are some moments, when I say, and I have like that look like, that look like,
I have those often.
what you talking about, Willis?
I have those
What you
often.
talking about, God? God, what you trying to say? And then it hits me like a ton of bricks.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get it. So, I look forward to having those I get it moments, and I still get those I get
And
it
we say it
moments,
all the time, his ways are not our ways. And so when we don't understand why things are happening, we expect for
Yeah,
ourselves to understand. And then, then you go in the church and you're like looking at the scriptures and saying his ways are not our ways. And you're like, yes, Lord. And then you're like, oh, I don't understand this. Why would you have,
yeah.
duh, his ways are
I,
not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. And so
just like
where
his
we may
time is
think
not
this
our
doesn't make
time.
sense, right? We may think this doesn't
Absolutely.
make sense. Why did you have me here? Why did you
Yeah.
have me at this school? Why did you have me at this job? I don't get that. And why am I here still this long? Like when are you going to open the doors of heaven and pour me out another blessing? So that I can move from this here job. Like we
Right.
have all those questions and we don't realize what we've been saying all this time. Like his ways are not our ways.
Not our
His
ways.
thoughts are
And
not our thoughts, and
I've
it's
had
his blueprint. It's his plan.
is his plan. And our pastor often said, he preaches in his messages oftentimes, when I move, you move. That talk about Christ. When God moves, you better move.
Just
Guess
like
what?
that.
If it don't, he
I
knows
say it
how to
all the
move
time. If you
you.
don't move when God say move, you're gonna feel it when He has to move you. You're
Absolutely.
gonna feel
And
it.
and I get excited about this part of life because, whereas it sounds churchy, and the colonel used to say even before he passed, uh, we attached to the end of our church, Baptist church. And he said, honey, I was thinking about kind of dropping the Baptist part because, we're about people. In fact, whenever we traveled on our anniversary trips, we would pick a different church no matter what uh, the name of the church or whatever. We would just go someplace to worship. And we've been in diverse places, but the idea was to spread the word of Jesus wherever you go. Sorry, not sorry for those who may take what we're doing, what we're saying as churchy, as, oh, hey, it is what it is,
It
as my
is
brother
what
used
it
to
is,
say.
homie.
It is what it is. And I ain't ashamed. I'm not afraid. I am just happy, glad to know, when I see things working together for the good of God, like this lady right around and say, who
It was
does that?
amazing. It was like y'all
Does
have to
that?
go on my feed. I shared it last night. It's probably like 11,
Oh my goodness. I
between
was
10:30 and
sleeping. Yeah, yeah.
11:30. But like it was amazing, and I was
It
so
is totally
addicted to
amazing.
like
It's
watching it,
amazing.
and it was just her. At one point, it was she had gotten in her car, but and her
Wow.
mom called, right. So she's an older woman. She's like she was older than me, and so her mother called because her mother must have known she was out there. And so she said, yeah, my mom, that, hold on, guys. And so her feed got interrupted for a moment. And she came back, was like, yeah, that was my mama trying to make sure I'm all right. And she's
You
like, she
see?
said she never knows. But the crazy thing was this. She goes, she never knows when I'm done for the night. But she always seems to call at the right time.
Absolutely.
She
That
always
does
seems to
sound
call at the right
familiar.
time. And
Does that
so
sound
it was
familiar?
like when she's on her way to the house, like she always calls when she's getting ready to, get out of her car. Because people could be, like, she's on her speaker. You know what I'm saying? So she ain't hard to find. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And so it's like
Oh,
her mom is like, I'm just making sure that you get in the house safe, whatever. And she never knows when she's going to be in the, whether when she's approaching her house because she says she ends at different times every night, which gave me the
mm,
impression that this isn't just the first time she's done it. It was just the first time that I was close enough to the spirit to be like, scroll here, and I saw it, and that or this was the moment where God wanted me to
mm,
be intercepted with what He had her doing, and so
mm,
I picked up that like she does this often, but it was the most amazing experience, and it was so real and authentic, and like I just want people to see that, when you do go see it, because I know y'all go check it out just because I say go check it out. But when you check it out,
yeah.
like just the authenticity of it, like that's what captured me. That was that's what resonated with me, and literally I was, man, and then I so I'm at the table, right, we eating, and I was like, yo, these tracks thump. I'm sitting there like just grooving to the tracks, and it reminded me of when I was younger and we used to what you call play church, and my sister played keys a little bit, my little sister, and so we be just in there just grooving, making songs up, and just creating, singing the gospel, singing, things about Jesus. Like we just making up songs. And at one point we was just singing Jesus over and over and over again. It was just his name. And we was singing that thing any kind of way, every kind of way, like making little they had a whole run and the word was Jesus. And so it reminded me of those moments. And when it reminded me of those moments,
Mm,
that was when I was in my prime of running for God. That's when
mm,
I was all in. That's when I was the
mm,
most ready and willing and able to just be whatever God wanted me to be in Him, for His people. And that's what brought about the question. Like I'm over 40 now. That was back I was 10, 12 years old. I'm over 40 now. And is my
wow.
mind still in the game? Is my mind still where it
Mm,
was then? That innocent
absolutely.
child that was just
You
like,
you
I'm
know,
running
you
for
hit on a
God.
point there, and because that is something that I think about. I think as you get older, you tend to think, and you hear me often saying this side of my life, because this side of my life is like, I call it the honeymoon side, because and as I think about it, the more I think about it, because it's a time where I'm really enjoying the fruits of the labor. I'm really enjoying, the fact that, because I've grown up knowing that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. I'm enjoying being a laborer by choice. And so, and I think so often during these times, things, I'm sitting here all the time. You would think I was still in the workplace or still working. I'm retired, going into 5 years now. And I have some books and papers and notes, and I'm printing out stuff. You think like I'm getting paid for this, which I'm not. I am, but I'm not. But the thing of it is, I just cherish information, learning, people. I cherish what to some people are little things, but to me, it's big. It's big because, it's like whatever God, just give it, just give it to me, just give it to me, just give it to me. You know, whatever it is you need for me to know, to do, to think about, to meditate on, I'm in it. I'm in it. And that's for me, one of the joys of being retired. That was the thing, that is the thing that I cherish the most. Being able to intentionally talk to God, intentionally pray, intentionally reach out to people, intentionally do whatever it is, for this temple, and they laugh at me, but that's something I do. I know my son, when he comes out to work and when he see me, is like, where's she going? But I dress, because this is what God has led me to do.
Look, I'm glad you said that because somebody said you look like Mother Earth. They are loving your get up right now. I'm
Oh,
looking
well,
at it like,
thank
yo, like, man, she slay every day. I just,
Thank you.
throw
I
over my
just
little
praise God.
t-shirt.
You know what? I thank God. Where's my thing that she muted me on? I am grateful for the curves of my hips, the thickness of my lips. Thank God for all the sassiness my creator trusted me with. He trusted me with this. And I am so grateful. And not for any vainglory, anything like that, but just for the fact that I so appreciate God. I so appreciate when I think about the 70 years, and I very often, as I said earlier, very often I'm reflecting all the time. I'm thinking from childhood as I'm writing my book. I'm thinking from childhood to middle grade to high school to college to after college and career and all of that stuff and hubby and the good times and the bad. I'm reflecting all the time, and I'm looking and I'm like, God, you know what? You are so awesome. You are amazing. Look what you've done. Look what you created. And the other thing is, before I shut my eyes, I'm asking him, did I please you today? Did I please you today? I have no shame. There's no shame to my game. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. And I just challenge each and everybody, each and everybody to think about, when you think about, you may look at your trophies and your diplomas and degrees. It ain't even about that. It's about what you've done to satisfy the creator, because he's what keeps us going. You know what I'm saying? And I take joy in that. When my house burnt down to the ground, all but the chimney, the fireplace, all of my earthly possessions gone up in smoke. It taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson that those earthly things will soon pass away, but the love of God and God, true story, replaced everything and some. after all of that. And that's what he'll do. I promise you, that's what he'll do. You know, so it's a good thing. This topic to something to relish, something to think about as we go forth from this broadcast today and throughout the week. If your head in the game, is your heart still in it? And that to me is the most important thing. Your heart, baby girl, and I'm gonna shut it down. My youngest granddaughter, who just turned 2 years old a few weeks ago, she has this. Mommy has this little red heart, and Uncle, we're still in awe how this baby knew. She put the heart. He said, and he was just saying, boom, boom, boom. She took the heart, placed it over, and boom, boom, boom. Going through the gyrations, the vibrations of this heart just pumping, and then she put it to his heart, and then she put it to my heart. And it's like she was just holding, she just got a thrill out of the fact that this heart goes in and out, pumping and
Yes.
just creating, the vibrations. I love y'all with the love of the
I love
Lord.
you too, and I hope this has sunk in. I know we went over. My
Woo!
tech guy came in and gave me the evil eye.
Yeah. Is that what I
Um,
saw? I saw that you.
he gave me the evil eye.
Okay.
Then he put then there was a sound, So we
I
getting
saw. I
we
heard
getting
that.
disrupted.
Tell him he still get paid.
We
Like
we getting
he still get
disrupted.
paid.
But y'all know I got to put on my cape, so I got to put on my teacher cape. So
Yeah.
it's a reminder for that too. So I
Oh,
gotta get to work. But I love you guys, and that's why it's just so important for us to get it, because God loves us too, and that's why He has people strategically placed all over to
mm,
speak His word, and however that comes out, it's not always dressed up in robes and
mm, mm,
you
mm.
know choir
Titles and
robes and clergy
credentials and
robes
all
and
the.
all of that. Um,
Mm,
it's sometimes it's just raw,
yeah.
just this is
Yeah.
His word, and so
Let go and let God.
let
Mm,
that post that I put, please go look at it. Please go look at it. But let that be a reminder to you for whatever you set your mind to keep your mind there, keep your
mm,
mind set. Um, Even when you get to the eye of the storm, there's still movement going on. You just don't see it. But there's still movement. And in that moment is where you should rev up the most, where you should grab all the energy that you can
mm,
to stay in the game. Keep your
mm,
heart in it. Because there is reward. There is reward afterwards. But not only that, there's another part to that storm. You got to get through the storm. And this is a movement. So let us not forget that, and keep your head in the game, keep your heart in it, and question today. Question yourself whether this is something that your heart is really in. Is your heart really in it? And if it's something that God wants you to do, then I need you to get your heart in the game. I need you
put
to
your
get your
heart
mind in
in
the
it.
game and
Yes.
put on Him for that strength. That's what He's there for, because this is His plan, not our plan, His plan. All right. So that's it. That's all. I gotta go. We 10 minutes over. I love you. My mama loves you. God loves us the most. That's why it's important for us to get it. Um, it's been awesome. This has been real deep. I thank you guys for all the comments. Thank you to all my celebrities that entered the building. Um, Radio personality Wendy Hicks. I see you Saturday. Can't wait. Gerald Anderson, a dynamic author. Miss Meaty Bartonelli. She's like an amazing, amazing,
Sweetie.
amazing
Mwah,
nurse.
mwah.
And so thank you all. Thank you all. Usher extraordinaire, Mardisha. Like I love you all. Vanita, amazing songstress, a chef. Look, the best chef ever, Antoine. Got celebrities in the building. I thank you guys so much for just being our faithfuls, just coming through and sharing love, and hopefully you guys share these posts, so somebody can get it. Somebody can hear this who isn't able to at 7:30 in the morning. All right, tomorrow marks our last day of season 7. I'm excited. 16,
Ooh.
17,
Wow.
17 episodes in a season. We're in the season 7, so that's amazing. All right, but until tomorrow, bright and early 7:30. I love you guys so much. Love you guys
Love
so
you.
much. It's your
Love
girl,
you.
Neo Soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya, wrapping up another segment of Morning Tea with Mommy. It's been awesome. It's been real. You guys are amazing. Have a wonderful day. Remember to walk in purpose and not just on purpose. Holla.
Love you, baby girl.
Love you too,
Mwah.
Mama.
Mighty, classy, beautiful. 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 Mighty, classy, mighty woman, classy, beautiful, mighty woman, classy,